So after all of this, I decided to, at that point I was just ready to give up. I didn't know what to do. So I went to my professor and he gave me some suggestions that I really wasn't excited about at first. But at that point in time, I felt like things couldn't possibly get any worse, so I may as well try it. And he had suggested that I make phone calls home, positive phone calls home to every single student in that class. And at the time, I was thinking, how am I going to do this? Because I really can't think of anything good to say about anybody right now, unfortunately, but that's how I felt. But I thought, well, whatever, I'm going to try it. So I did. I stayed after school for 2-3 hours, and I made phone calls home to every single kid's parent. And I basically just explained to them who I was, what I was doing, told them what we were going to be learning about, some of the sorts of activities that I had planned, and how I was really looking forward to getting to know their kids better. And I felt like we were going to have a lot of fun, even though I wasn't sure I believed that at the time, but these are the sorts of things that I would tell the parents when I called. And I finished the phone calls, went home that day thinking, this is so stupid. There's no way that just by introducing myself to these people, why would that change how these kids behave in my class? But the very next time I had them, I was amazed. It was a complete turnaround. I didn't have people shouting out. I didn't have people disrespecting me. Not once. The whole day just went perfectly, and I could not believe it. I thought maybe I was just lucky, but then my professor laughed and said, of course not, it's because of the phone calls that you made. And he's right, because it wasn't just that one day. The whole class just turned around from that point forth. And to continue those relationships so that things didn't go back to the way they were, at that point, I was able to start noticing things about my students. When they would do something good, I would make note of it, and I went to the dollar store and I just got a bunch of these little note cards that said, a note from your teacher. And I got certificates of excellence with a microscope on them. So every time somebody would do something good, I would write a very specific message to them about what specifically it was that they did that I noticed. And instead of just passing one out to everybody in class, like, oh, yay, we're all special, I found them in the hallway after school or at lunch or just, outside of class. I would see them and I'd hand them this note and tell them, good job. And you could just see the look in their face, like, wow, she actually noticed. She's paying attention to me. And it's just made a world of difference. These same kids... the one girl who would sit in the back of the classroom and just absolutely despised me at the beginning of the year, we are actually really good friends now, and she is constantly writing me thank you notes, and she bought me a really nice card the other day saying how much she's going to miss me and she hopes I find a wonderful job somewhere. And the one student who was a prankster and would constantly be dancing and laughing and distracting the class, he is the first person now that when I have trouble getting the class quiet right away, he stands up every time and says, hey, my teacher is trying to talk. You need to be quiet. And everybody sits down and is quiet. He helps me pass out papers. The one student who was so sassy with me, who takes pride in breaking down her teachers, about a week ago she was being kind of sassy, and I said, oh, you like giving me a hard time, don't you? And she said, yeah, miss, but I'm just kidding. You know you're my favorite teacher. So now I cry in this class a lot too, but it's for totally different reasons, because I'm just so thrilled at the difference all of these little things that I've done, which actually weren't nearly as hard as I thought they were going to be, have just made a tremendous difference. And what started out as being the most horrific class ever, in my opinion, is now my favorite class. And they are the best behaved academically and behaviorally, and it's just amazing. And I love them.